My other question is, who is the artist responsible for the itty bitty little guys now that come out and repair the ship? That is the coolest little thing.
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure. I think our young, talented scripters came out with that idea, and it's really cool and it's immersive. And I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
So
I mean, as I said, we work as a family. It's not that everybody has exactly that one thing that they're doing. I mean, we have Goran, who is a fantastic artist who made all 2D art in the game and for all the promotions or concept arts, everything that he done. But also when he doesn't have time to do something for, I don't know, Facebook promotion, that's when I jump in and take my Photoshop skills and do something. So Mario is also doing interviews and doing sound design. I'm doing interviews. So basically, as a family, we just do what is necessary, and if you're good at something, you can do it. It's not that you're a scripter and you cannot give any idea, you just have to sit there and script. No, you can give ideas, you can brainstorm. So basically, it's hard to say who came up with which idea at this point, because the game is in the making for more than a year, and the ideas were pouring from all sides in the team, and I don't know who can say, no, this is just mine, and this is totally me.
totally understandable. Like I said, I've been blown away by some of the things. Now, I did notice when you talk about sound design that all the old sounds are in the game, are from Starpoint Gemini 2, are in this one. Are you guys going to be adding...
Some is changed. Some are changed, like PT is not PT, sublight, and people said that when they're flying at sublight speed or PT in SPG2, that the engine is too loud and that they cannot just relax and enjoy the music. So now, after the initial sound of powering the sublight system, it will be much quieter, and you can just roam around, explore, and enjoy the music better than in SPG2. That's the first thing. And there, as I said, there are many placeholders. Many of the things will be changed, including sound. I mean, in the first version of Early Access that we were testing like 3 days before release, you had old PT sound, and when we released it, it was this new sublight sound. So many things will be changed during the course of Early Access. More music will be added, of course. Sounds will be improved, and new sounds will be added. As I said, many new features. I mean, this is like the 1/10 of the game that we make, and of course I don't know how many extra features will be added that we are still not aware of, and that community will come up with during the course of the Early Access.
True, so true. So you guys you're talking about doing updates every couple of weeks. Have you guys thought about having a stream where you go on and you talk about the updates at all? I think Mario's got the guts to do
yes.
that.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, he can do it, but I think I can jump in for those updates. But it will be advisable to give me at least one day, because we stuff so much content in every update that it's a change log. People love our change logs. That it's a change log that you can just scroll through on the forum. And even I don't know what everything that will be implemented in the update. So even I have to read that log and to test some things, to see how they work, how they changed it from the initial idea. And so actually, the day when the update kicks in, I won't know anything. The day after it, yes, then we can do a stream where I can talk about it.
Oh, okay, great. I was going to say, if you guys don't plan on it, I have no problem helping you guys out with that, since I'm probably going to be knee-deep in this. In fact, I will be. I do enjoy, like I said, you guys are just a pleasure to work with. Any questions I have, you guys have always been nothing but professional. Now, Tall Maru wants to know, oh, you can ram. Oh, okay, he answered it, because someone
Yes,
telling
yes,
you can ram people now.
It actually... Talon, it actually ramming depends on the size of your ship. So if you have a smaller ship, you will probably bounce off the rock that is bigger than you, or I mean, you won't actually explode on the first hit. But when you have bigger ships like Tsar or which is carrier, you will just go straight through them and they will explode. And actually, that was a cool effect. Chris from PC Gamer, he was amazed by that effect of just going through the asteroids head on with a massive ship, and it was just like Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back when they hunt Han Solo in the asteroid field.
Great. Speaking of gigantic ships, are there going to be Titans in this one? Or something close to it?
Well, close to it, every dreadnought. Since everything is rescaled, dreadnoughts in SPG2 will be as big as Titans were in Starpoint Gemini 2. And we have Proxima. Proxima will be like 5 times bigger than, or even more, to be honest, than dreadnoughts. And Proxima will be like a huge, colossal ship that you will need to mine half of the universe to get resources for making and manufacturing that ship. So Proxima for now is the biggest ship that will be available in the game later. Of course, it's not in now, and even if it is now, it's not. You cannot purchase it on a state. It's your ship, your colossal ship, which you will develop in your headquarters after you maxed out every possible upgrade on your headquarters, and when you expand more and get more resources. Because I didn't talk about expansion. When you expand to a next region and when you conquer one region, every resource that there is in the region, you will start getting income from. So be it asteroid fields or planets with some, I don't know, fruit or something, it doesn't matter. You will get a steady income. So the more you expand, the more steady monthly income will you get, which will bring you closer to upgrading your quarters and, of course, making Proxima ship. Proxima will be like I won't say that's the Star Destroyer. I would say Proxima will be like a Death Star in Starpoint Gemini Warlords.
Wow. So, will you be able to command your forces more efficiently, or be able to commence bigger and better attacks when you have the Proxima, if you want to take over another section?
Well, we are still thinking about that and how we will implement that. The idea of fleets will be that you will have that strategic layer where you will this star chart that you opened, that's not half done yet. I mean, filters are not there, many things are not in it at this point. You will have the option to, like in RTS, you can pick your fleets, send them to different zones, either to fortify a current zone or to invade another zone. You will be able. The idea behind fleets is that a fleet will have an amount of points. Let's say points. I don't know if any of guys in the stream or you have ever played Star Wars Armada, but it will work similar to that. So you basically have, like, I don't know, let's say 100 points for a fleet, and fleet cannot exceed that 100 points. But gunship is worth 5 points, dreadnought is worth 75 points. So you will be able to collect ships and to build a fleet that will not exceed that 100 points, and every ship will have, let's say, its value. So basically that's the point. So you will have different fleets. You can have a fleet with a big dreadnought and few smaller ships, or you can have a fleet of gunships. There will be more gunships in one fleet than in the other where you have dreadnought. So basically it's all, the idea is to have a fixed amount of points that you can, points value of the fleet. And every ship will have its point value, and you will just assemble it as you want. And that's simple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds, actually that sounds, it sounds simple, but I'm sure it's not easy to implement.
No, it's not. But I mean, idea behind it is if you I don't know, if you see that some faction have um, more Tsar carriers or ships like that, then you want to have fleets which have more ships but smaller and faster ships, so they can actually, uh, let's say, gank him like I don't know, a bunch of X-wings on some other ship which is bigger, so they can evade him and be more effective than one big slow ship against other big slow ship.
Right, like so an anaconda in Elite Dangerous, and you've got a bunch of sidewinders, but you've got 10 sidewinders, you can take that anaconda
Of
down.
course.
Right, that kind of
Yes,
idea.
yes, exactly. That's the idea. So, and Talon Hunter is asking, will we be able to upgrade a logistics stat that allows bigger fleets? It's something that we are not. I mean, we didn't discuss it yet. We're still discussing how the fleets will work. Why? Because we didn't implement it. When we implement them, the discussion is not over. It's just starting with our community and our players. So I don't know. Maybe we will change the whole fleet system from our idea to something that community will want. So it can all change. So I cannot tell you, honestly, I cannot tell you at this point if you will be able to upgrade the logistics if I'm not sure how community will react on our idea of fleets and the way we want them to work or think they should work. So it's something that will change.
Well, of course, you like I I've said before, you guys are so into the community and what they want, because it seems like with such a mix of ideas, you guys really are good at picking out the diamonds to implement.
Well, it's no brainer. I mean, we have a community that is mature. We don't have, I don't want to be offensive to anyone, but we don't have Call of Duty kids. So we have community that is mature. They're all older gamers. They're friendly. They're kind. They're trying to help everyone. And when you have those kind of people, and we all grew up on the same games, so basically we are making gamers by gamers. Um, Basically, the idea is to use the power of our community because it paid off in Starpoint Gemini 2, and we're sure it will pay off here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just unfortunately lost my train of thought. So let's see. The other thing I was going to ask, now I remember, is again talking about the ships. Are you guys adding a lot more ships than what was in Starpoint Gemini 2? I thought I read something around, you guys said you're going to be putting 90 ships in the game?
Yes, currently there are about 30 ships available at the start of early access. And the idea is to have, not the idea, we already have designed 90 different ships for Warlords. And there were like, I think 75 different ships in Starpoint Gemini 2. And that's something that community really liked. I mean, players said that they love playing other games, but they miss having more ships. I mean, I love Elite Dangerous and I play Elite Dangerous, but Elite Dangerous, I'm not sure how many ships does it have currently, but it's I think
23?
about 40, maybe even less.
Oh yeah,
23, yeah,
yes,
okay.
because I was doing
Less than
guides
30
on it,
ships.
and there's a thing I pulled. I think it's around. It's under 30, I think. It's around 23 is
Yeah,
what
I mean,
I
they
thought.
added something. They added something in Horizons. They added Viper MK4 and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's under 30. And in Rebel Galaxy, which is a fantastic game. I mean, I got it. I got the key from Travis, who is one of the developers in Double Damage, and I really loved the game. I really loved how awesome it is, how polished it is, how smooth gameplay was, but they also didn't have had that many ships. They had like I think also about 20 or 30 ships.
They had
I might be lying here.
21
I'm
that
not
you could
100%
play.
sure.
21. I know. I did a full
Oh
ship
yeah.
guide,
Oh,
and there's 21 of them. And it took a
yeah.
while to do
Okay.
21 ship guides. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So that's 21 ship guides in Rebel Galaxy. You have less than 30 in Elite, and people always said, "Give us more ships." So we said, okay, we gave you 75 in SPG2, and we will give you 90 here. And of course, some old ships will come back. Tsar, which was like a cigar in SPG2, is now redesigned and it looks more massive, but it's still here. And there will be redesigned ships from SPG2, but there will also be many more.
Now, you said when we can build our own ship, is that going to be additional designs on top of the 90 that you can do?
No, I think we just counted your ships with those, because you will be able to make gunship and Proxima, and I mean, I we are not we didn't define this for sure at the moment, but I think you will be able to make one ship of each class.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, we did define it, but I don't have that info on me right now, so.
Okay, and speaking, well, I know it was real big, and I know I did some videos on it, the modding community. Have you guys decided when you're going to open this up to mods? Are you going to open it up to mods?
Yes, of course. I mean, we are all about modding. The whole SPG2 was open, but we did screw up modding tools, and we had problems. We tried to fix them, and it never worked. And we always had, let's say, priorities in the SPG2 content and developing new content, and we never get back to it. And we said, okay, we screwed up modding tools. We did had fantastic modders, which actually really leveled up that modding community in Starpoint Gemini 2. But now we are especially careful with creating modding tools. They will be easier to use, and they will actually work this time. So we hope for a much bigger modding community, and we hope for complete conversions. We want to be able, we want players to be able to actually do whatever they want. I mean, in SPG2 you could change the portraits, you could change the music. We had Anthony Dietrich from Germany, who actually made complete Star Wars conversion. All planets were Star Wars planets. Music was from Star Wars soundtrack. So, and we had Rogue Shadow Bran, who made Star Wars ships. So I was playing for some time SPG2 with Star Destroyer, listening to Star Wars soundtrack, and landing on Coruscant and Tatooine. So it was fantastic, and that was with screwed up tools. So actually, this time we not only we will make better tools, we will also publish and release modding tutorials on our web page. So people who are new to modding won't just get a tool, but also a guide on how to use it and how to make different parts and different aspects, how to use different aspects of modding.
Great. Well, I know that's something, I mean, personally, we're flying around our space station here. I would love to be able to turn that into a Death Star. But that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
and if anybody out there...
You would have some problems with collisions. Because the Death Star would be all around like, I don't know, like a giant ball in space, and you would probably have some problems with defining collisions and stuff like that. So.
Oh, as long as it looked like it, and maybe if I could do a run with a small gunship, you know, have it firing at me, oh, it'd be so good.
Yeah, and you would have to position like 100 turrets on that one point where it's a super weapon of Death Star is and stuff like that. And Talon Hunter is asking how deep is the planned modability of the engine. Honestly, I'm not sure. We will release more info on that, and our scripters and programmers will be able to give you more info on that on our Steam forums than I could now. And will you be able to mess with camera? I don't know why not. I mean, some things will be hard-coded, but not many of them. I think we will discuss that more, and we will, as I said, we will try to leave the game as open as we can for modders.
Well, I have another question here, and it's because I follow what you guys do on Facebook. So, have you guys figured out a way to hook any of the current VR headsets up to this yet?
Currently, we are trying to just not at the moment. I mean, we did have a build of SPG2 for Oculus Rift DK1, and just the amount of work we had to put to configure it to work on DK2 was just a waste of time. And we said, okay, let's put it aside because we don't have a consumer product yet. So let's wait for the Oculus Rift, and not just Oculus Rift. Let's wait for Vive, for Rift, for every other possible VR set, Samsung VR and stuff like that, and let's see what will people buy most, and then let's try to see if we can make the game for it. It's in the back of our heads, but it's definitely not our priority. Not too many people have VR sets at the moment. They're pretty expensive, and it's not in mainstream. And we are not a AAA project, so I think that we just put it on hold for now, and we will wait to see what will be happening with Rift and Vive in the future, and just focus on making the game right. This time we have to plan. PC will always be our primary platform for which we will develop the game. But this time we are also planning on Xbox One release.
Yeah, I've had
It's something that we have in mind, but it's not confirmed yet, and we cannot say this time if we will be able to port Warlords to PlayStation because of the different architecture. PlayStation is OpenGL, and both Xbox One and PC are DirectX, so porting to Xbox is much easier than porting to PlayStation. But it's something that is also on our minds.
I've got that question a lot on most of my videos. When people are asking about Warlords, they're all asking if it's going to be coming to Xbox, because it sounds like it did decently over there on Xbox.
Well, actually, we were surprised. I was afraid if the console community would like and accept a complex game like this one, and they really did. So, yes, we will definitely release on Xbox, Good Old Games, and Steam Warlords. And as for PlayStation, as I said, I'm not sure. I cannot confirm it at this point, but we would love to, of course.
So is that a big difference going from the x86 to OpenGL? I mean, would you guys have to rewrite the whole engine, or?
Yes, basically, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty of work.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. Considering how, I mean, this is a pretty auspicious, pretty big project you guys are doing right now. I mean, as it stands, I don't think people understand for the size of your guys' team. You guys are really putting yourselves under some pressure here with just the sheer scope of this one versus Starpoint Gemini 2.
Well, we always are, but we said that we have to step up. I mean, just doing money milking expansion for Starpoint Gemini 2 in the same engine with, I don't know, a few missions, that was not an option. So, and when we realized how big the community wishlist became, we said, okay, we need another game because these things is not about money. It's not possible in this engine, and if we are rewriting the engine, then we cannot play SPG anymore. We have to break the game. So let's just, and it will be like half-done job, and it will be like half product. So let's say let's make another game, a community-driven project, which will have everything they wanted. I mean, it already has some of the things that bother them in SPG2, and we fixed them, like that that saving in the middle of space, and skipping cutscenes, and better voiceovers, and bigger space, and of course everything can be refined and tuned. Nothing is set in stone at this point. And I see that Talon Hunter is asking if we make OpenGL, we can do Linux. Yes, of course. We had many questions about Linux port on SPG2, but it was just way out of our league at that moment. Now we will first focus on making the game for PC in DirectX and Xbox in DirectX, and we will see how well the game will be received by community, how many people will ask for Linux or PlayStation, and then see if we will port it to PlayStation. I can definitely say that when we do a full release, it probably won't be a simultaneous release on PlayStation 4. So if the game will be received well, we will have a whole team working on extra updates and DLC, but we will also have some people that we can just give the idea of making the port for PlayStation 4. We already have some new programmers that are talented in OpenGL and knowledgeable in OpenGL, so it might work, but as I said, we cannot promise anything at this point.
So one of my other big questions would be, especially from a developer's side, how do you guys make sure that it's going to run on the various Windows platforms? Because everybody's running everything from Windows 7 to 8 to Windows 10 now. Are you guys having any difficulties making sure it goes across to all the systems? Because I run 7 myself. I'm still running 7 Windows-wise.
Well, yeah, there are always difficulties, especially with PC version. I mean, on Xbox or PlayStation 4, you have a console, and if it works on one, it will work on 99%, not 100%, but 99% of those consoles. On PC, I mean, now after 3 days, I was reading bug reports today, and yes, most bug reports are in regard of our missions being broken at the moment, and we are aware of that, and we are already fixing that. But we also had many bug reports on the game not even starting, and that's something that it's not game's fault. And after a few of those reports, we investigated it and realized that people don't have like Visual 2015 redistributable installed, or missing some DLL, or Steam didn't download all the game files. Antivirus programs usually just quarantine or delete the game exe, falsely detecting it as a virus. So unlike Starpoint Gemini 2, now the majority of bugs that we have reported were actually on the various problems that are not directly the game's fault, but the conflicts in various Windows versions and various systems. How are we testing it? We have several computers with several cards. We have slower, older computers. We have newer computers. We are testing the game in lowest details and highest details in 4K resolution. So basically, we are trying to cover as many configurations as we can, but of course we cannot cover everything that is available on PC, every graphic card, every CPU, and every combination of those things. So of course game is not optimized yet, and it's not polished at this moment, and that's something that we will do as we go, of course, since every new feature will require new optimizations. So
Right on. Yeah, I was wondering about that because that's something you don't hear very much, at least on the gamer side, or anyone asking about it. I mean, forum-wise or anything, is the impact of having just Windows alone, as an operating system. The 3 big ones everybody uses. Then you've got all the different graphics card. Does it with you guys? Does it matter? Does NVIDIA work better than AMD, or vice versa, or do you guys optimize for both?
We try to optimize for both. There is one thing that I will not say as a developer, but as a person who worked in IT for 10 years. And Intel, usually when you ask people about CPUs, they say that AMD is worse than Intel. It is. It is because Intel is using a clever trick. And it was visible in Starpoint Gemini 2, it won't be as visible in Warlords. Why? Because Intel was always able to recognize if the game is only able to use one core, which was the problem, or let's say, the situation in SPG2. And AMD, if it has 4 cores at 2.4 gigahertz, it will always have 4 cores on 2.4 gigahertz, and the Starpoint Gemini 2 will just work on 2.4 gigahertz. On the other hand, Intel with 4 cores will recognize that the game uses just 1 core. It will just shut down all other 3 cores and overclock this one on 5 or even 6 gigahertz. And of course, it will give better performance for the processors that both have same nominal value. So currently, we as we rewrite half the engine, now Starpoint Gemini Warlords supports multi-thread threading processors. So it will work on several cores without any problems. That's also something that we did to increase performance and to just, let's say, give the game more space to breathe.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's one of the things. I'm probably a little different than most of the people out there. When I run a game, I've got 4 or 5 different things up here, and I'm always looking at, is it just burning off one core? Because a lot of games do still. They don't optimize well. I got a 8-core AMD, and you guys, I see a difference because I remember what it ran with Starpoint Gemini 2 versus now. Already the new engine, it's already a better spread than it was before.
Well, yeah, we will still optimize it more, but as Talmaruz just said in the chat, he noticed that the game was running evenly across all his cores. We will work on that, because as we implement more features and more things into the game, of course it will stress the cores more. There will be like, I don't know, we have like, I think 750 sectors in the game this time, and they're huge, and there will be so many objects in the game that, of course, this is an empty game, and it's not optimized, but it's also empty, so it runs very smoothly even on older computers, as we got some reports. Of course, we cannot assure people that the game will still run on old cards like, I don't know, GTX, I don't know, 540 or something. It will run probably, but it will run at maybe 25 to 30 FPS on lowest details. So it will run, but to fully enjoy it, you will need to have newer graphic cards, of course. But it's a game that is developed and will be developed and released probably in 2017, next year. So people cannot expect that we will keep the game at the point it was when they bought their computer 5 years ago. Just look at the Star Citizen. It's redefining and pushing the graphic card manufacturers to invent stuff that will actually work with that game. Not to mention the 100 gigabytes download of the game.
Well, as someone that doesn't have the best graphics card, that'd be me, I noticed with Starpoint Gemini 2, the early access, boy, it pushed my card, but once you guys actually got into the optimizing, my card had no problem, and it ran butter smooth. There was a couple of things you guys did, say, hey, turn this one effect off, and it makes like all the difference if you don't have the strongest of cards. Is there anything you guys can recommend now? If there's, are there any settings that are really taxing on the game? If people are having problems with slow frame rate, anything they can do to speed it up?
Yes, of course. As Talmaru says in the chat, the nebulas in Starpoint Gemini 2 were killing the processors and, the FPS performance. Currently, you have, they're always the same thing, same things in all games. Anti-aliasing will stress the game and the graphic card. Sometimes disabling VSync helps, and volumetric shadows that are cool and that are actually throwing dynamic lights on, not lights, but shadows from asteroids that were, how to explain it at 6 a.m. So
asteroids as
suns are throwing light on asteroids, and those asteroids are throwing shadows and real-time shadows on other asteroids in the field. So that's very hardware demanding option. So just keeping the volumetric shadows down would help. with performance. And another thing that I see here, Stevie Boy asks if will there be a good support for SLI and Crossfire. Well, unfortunately, that is not on the game developer. SLI support is something that has to be done by the graphic manufacturer, and that is the reason why you always have those constant updates on NVIDIA, for example, and it says new update is out for GTA 5, new update is out for Elite Dangerous, new update is out for. So basically, those SLI things are handled by the card manufacturers, the graphic card manufacturers. I hope there will be a good support. We do contact them. They are our partners, so there should be a support on the full release, of course, not during the early access.
So has one of them got directly behind you guys, so their screen will pop up when you first start the game, like, or is that only a AAA thing? You know, it says supported by NVIDIA graphics. Or
No, it's a AAA thing. I mean, we are partners, which means that they sometimes give us a card to test on, or I mean, they could do it more. To be honest, we would like them to give us more cards and to make the game better optimized for their cards. Or same goes for AMD and ATI. So. Basically, they're partners, which means they will support the game, they know about the game, but it's not a AAA things where they will invest money and send us like 20 GTX Titan, I don't know, equipped computers or anything like that, unfortunately.
oh, I wish
But
they
who
did.
knows in the future?
Well, maybe they will. Then you guys can give them out to your hardcore fan base that, you know, is always supporting you.
Yeah, I mean, we do have something in Croatia, and we have a company in Croatia that actually is making their own gaming computer, gaming PC brand. They're called Micronis, and they're actually pretty nice guys. They know what they're doing. They're also gamers, so their gaming hardware department are gamers that are assembling gaming computers. So they really know what people need for a game. They know how to tweak stuff similar to Alienware or I don't know, Origin PC, but of course not in that price range.
I was going to say.
And they actually promote our game. So when you buy their gaming series computer, you get SPG2 for free and stuff like that. And when we have any conferences, they provide their equipment, their fantastic computers, like those gaming fairs and conferences we go to. They give us their equipment, so we don't have to worry about projectors, about TVs for trailers, about gear for testing the game. So yes, we do have something like that in Croatia with a local team, and they're fantastic.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I know it's part of the problem with developers is having the tools in the first place to work with. It's not always easy to get your hands on that stuff, especially if you're a small
Yeah, and
group.
I have to say praises for Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft. I'm not going into the Sony story, but Microsoft actually is giving a dev consoles for like 3 times less than a consumer console. So they're really supporting that ID at the Xbox project. So in the indie teams on Xbox, because everybody can get a console for I don't know, less than $200 for developing a game. So that's fantastic.
Oh,
They were
wow.
very supportive, and just working for Xbox was really nice with them.
Yeah, there people contacted me when they started doing the promotion for the Xbox. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. And to
Very
answer Stevie
interesting.
Boy, I too would like to know if the X12 will be added at a later date. I'm not sure at the moment, but I know that the engine can handle it. The engine can handle the X12, but currently it's the X11 for now.
Looks damn good. And for a guy that's got a card I run a 7850 AMD Sapphire 7850, something like that. It's not the newest card, but it runs hot, but still, I'm like I said, I've been floored by how beautiful the game looks, even with the way I have it set up. I mean, everything's not turned on, but it's still just you can see such a jump.
Something that other games do, I think that we will do a similar thing here, because I don't know, when you compare Witcher 3 on Xbox or PS4 or PC I won't say max settings, because on PS4 and Xbox there are max settings, you can see that the quality of the game is not worse on Xbox in comparison to PS4 or in comparison to PC. They just remove some stuff that is just there as a fluff. So I had Witcher 3 on Xbox One, and I was playing it, and I was stuck in some mission, and I just went to check the YouTube video, and I was watching at the same scene, and I said, wait, something is different here. Well, they actually put less grass, there were fewer trees, but they didn't made worse textures or anything. So the faces were still exactly the same, fantastic, sharp, good looking, same light effects. They just removed several trees, and they just removed some of the grass, and the game ran. So that's something that we can do here now. I mean, we don't have to just make the textures more blurry and ugly when you lower the settings. It will still look good on medium, or sometimes even on low settings, but there will be less effects that are harder demanding, maybe less lights, maybe not asteroids. Asteroids are something else. We cannot play with asteroids because they are a resource for the game. They're a resource for game mechanics. So putting less asteroids in, I don't know, Xbox version of the game would mean breaking game balance for resource collection. So that's something that we have to be mindful of.
Right. So the easy way to explain it would be, it's like turning hair works for Witcher on and off. Either you have the beautiful hair or you don't have the beautiful hair. Doesn't really matter either way. Only those people with the top-end systems could even run the beautiful hair.
Yeah, of course, similar to the Tomb Raider tessellation FX with her hair moving. Yeah.
All right.
But the game itself, the game world, was not looking worse on Xbox or on PC, because today the way to make the game better for older configuration is not to just make blurry textures that load faster. It's actually, we have more clever ways to improve the performance without making the game look ugly or outdated.
Right. You're just adjusting textures behind the scenes where people aren't going to necessarily see them quite as easily.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Instead of having 3 layers on something, you guys can run 2, things of that nature. I don't know. I'm not a developer, so. But I mean, I understand what you guys are doing, which is good. I mean, it's nice. Like I said, the game runs just beautifully.
Yeah.
I mean, as it stands right now, the game is doing just a fantastic job. I've been testing it, and I mean, for people that are first coming, this is, as always, folks, a early access game, so you do need to keep that in mind before you purchase it, because everything's not in there. But what is in there's a lot you can do. I mean, as it stands right now, I've already got 20 hours in, and that's all I've explored, and that's just because I could see the other planet when I was at a planet. So okay. I'll go to this one. All the way down, and then I found Pyros that has the fun. What is it?
Pyros is fantastic. Yes, and I don't know if you noticed the asteroid field, like molten lava asteroids when you're coming to Pyros. I'm not sure from which side, but one of those asteroid fields near Pyros is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
it's
actually,
got.
I will have to end this call now because my girlfriend just woke up at 6:30 a.m. She has to go to work, and I will stay on the chat for some time, but I will
Oh,
have to end the
oh
call.
no, that's no, no. It's all good. You know, my streams are only usually an hour and a half, 2 hours top, so I can just end. It's all good. I think everybody, we've had all of our questions answered. So thank you for showing up. Hopefully, here we'll have more
I
to.
will come back. I will come back definitely after we have a new update. Not maybe bug fixes, but a content update. As we will add more features, I will gladly come as a guest, and we can advertise it sooner, so more people will come to the stream and ask questions, get answers, so on.
That'd be great. Yeah, part of that's my fault. I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure I got far enough in the game. I had an idea what I was talking about, and wow, like I said, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Anything you want to end out with? How people can get a hold of you guys at Starpoint, at Little Green Games, not Starpoint. That's the name.
Of
Anyways,
course, we are constantly on official forums. We are constantly on Steam forums, so you can reach us there. We are trying to answer as many topics and threads as we can, and we will continue to be there until not just until the release. I mean, I'm still answering topics on SPG2 forums, so we are not abandoning our project just because they're released or finished. So yes, I will come on the next update again. If anybody has any questions, of course this is an early access version, so we have bugs. I'm actually very glad you didn't crash in this hour and a half on the stream.
there's a trick. There's a trick to
Yeah.
that, and that's one thing. The only time I've had real issues is if I jump a bunch of sectors. So I let it just sit and completely load this sector. That's why I've stayed in the sector the whole time while we've been here. So that's what I've been
Thank you
doing.
for that. Well, thank you for that.
Because
Man.
I was like, okay, I keep having issues here. All right, well, and it's understandable because it's not optimized. So when you hit a new sector, it's got to load all that information on top of what's already there.
Yeah,
So,
of course. Yeah.
but it's all good. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for inviting me. I'll be back. I'll be back. So don't worry about that. And thanks for guys who came to the forum. I mean, I was talking to Talon on Talmaru's stream. Now we talked here. So, as I said, our community is like a big family. So that's nice. It's really a nice thing to work on this game and in this community.
Well, thank you very much. Alrighty. Well, I will talk to you soon.
Sure. Bye all.
Bye-bye. Alrighty, folks. Well, there you go. Hopefully we answered all the questions and stuff that you had. If not, as always, I will be posting this on YouTube within 24 hours. So if you have any more questions, you can go to the Rev Plays. You can throw the questions down there. I'll be looking for the next when the next update comes in. I am on Steam if you want to friend me. And then, of course, they have the forums and stuff. You'll see me in there, the Rev Plays, all the time, chatting it up, trying to answer some questions if I can, because one of the things I do, if you do check out my channel, is I do build gaming guides. In fact, I talked about at the beginning of the stream, Starpoint Gemini 2 Beginner's Guide is still my #1 video on my channel. After almost 2 years, that every time they put that game on, wham, I always get another 10 or 20,000 views on it. So, like I said, folks, if you have any questions, contact me or go to the forums. Little Green Men, they're fantastic. Like I said, they will answer. It was 5 a.m. when we started over there in Croatia for Zeno, so I really appreciate him stopping by as always. I am the Rev. This is Indie Contact, my show on Sundays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I go over different indie games. So if you are a developer and you have a game you'd like for me to take a look at as well, go ahead and contact me through my YouTube channel, Business Inquiries. As always, though, folks, thank you so much, and I will see you next week. So remember, keep your heads down, your guns up, and I'll see you again real soon.